Okay guys, so in this video we're going to talk about targeting and understanding the different types of audiences that Facebook uh, allows you to use and to create, and understand really the types of audience that you get when you do run ads um, that are important to kind of understand the distinction. So in this first section, we're looking at basically you have three types of audiences on Facebook. You have cold, warm, and hot. So cold are, I guess when you're designing an ad, cold traffic, when you're designing an ad for people or for people who are basically have never engaged with you, have never been to your page, or engaged with any of your products or liked the status, have no kind of engagement whatsoever with you. They are literally cold traffic and are seeing you for the first time. So in this sense, you would want to target new prospective audiences. You want to target them based on like their interests and their demographics and behaviors. So in the situation where we have the 21-year-old female from New York who is interested in travel, right? You could do that. That would be one of the ways that you would, bulk, her demographics, her age, 18. We have put the thing like 18 to 24. Um, that would be her demographic. She's female, she's within the age range 18 to 24, and she likes travel. That's, just part of the scenario. Um, Another thing you can do with cold audiences is create lookalikes. So let's say if you create an audience with that demographic and those interests, you can create another custom audience. And let's say, you wanted to target men in this sense, with 18 to 24 who were also interested in travel or in entrepreneurship or whatever have you. It's the same sense. Um, your warm audiences, the types of traffic that you run to a warm audience, these are people who have interacted with you, they've watched your videos, they've given your page, they've given you page likes, or they have visited your website. So Facebook will track, your audience who actually interacts with you or has previously interacted with you within a certain time frame, or um, recently that you can get specific, but basically that's what warm traffic is. It's someone who has already interacted with your product or brand or service or page, right? And then your hot audiences are people who obviously you have warmed up. They have made purchases from you or visited a sales page that you have. Okay. Um, Looking at again the types of audiences, once you have that hot traffic build up, what you can do is create, or warm between like that warm and hot traffic. This is where you start to design custom audiences. So in the back of Facebook and Ads Manager, can break down how to create a custom audience based off of people who have interacted with you or have visited your website, or have looked at a sales page or purchased. So you can actually we turn those and we create a custom audience, and then we also create another additional lookalike audience based off of these custom audiences. So these are ways that you can continue to target, those people who have been interacting with you. So again, a custom audience is just, an individual or a person who has engaged with your product or brand in some capacity, right? Um, Looking at cold audiences, what typically is a good size or a number? When you're creating ads, you get to see, and you're choosing demographics and interests and behaviors, you get to see how large your audience number is, what your potential reach is. Facebook typically recommends a large audience that is for testing, and personally it's actually a better to start wide with a large audience, because large audiences are scalable. over a long period of time. So typically, if you're running your ad for a first time, you want to have an audience size, a potential reach of, 1 million plus for, just going out of the gate to get, eyeballs. And depending on your budget, if you're spending $100 a day or plus, a large audience, the reason why you don't want to spend $100 a day, let's say on a smaller audience, is because your Facebook is you're going to eat through that audience size pretty quickly. Um, Not to say, however, that audience sizes of like 40,000, they do get great results, but you will run through that audience very quickly, especially if you're spending at that large amount. Typically, I actually don't recommend first time ad spenders to budget out at that cost. That's more for actually like client budgeting. When you're running ads, you might want to start with a smaller budget, like $5 a day, $10 a day, just to kind of get your feet wet, and you will get good results even with that daily ad spend. So again, the smaller sizes initially can be great for starting out, and you can get some really great results from that. But as you scale, obviously, and you're starting to spend more, you want to have a larger audience to handle that, right? Um, let's see. And you have um, a different, like a warm, cold audience. So, again, these are people who have interacted with you, and you want to target people by their engagement. And usually, I think engagement is rated on Facebook, within the top 25% of people who have engaged with you or with your page or product. It will judge it by the frequency, the number of times that people have visited, or if they've gone to your website, it will track specific pages that they have visited. Basically, that gets into the pixel later, which we'll talk about as to how you can actually track what pages people are visiting. So that tells people, okay, or tells Facebook rather, I want to target these same people who have interacted with or visited certain landing pages on my website. And also you can target um, with people who have visited within a certain time frame. Typically the best is within the last 180 days. And I think actually in Facebook it's that's about the number of days you can actually go up to, or tell Facebook, look, I want to target people who have visited within X amount of time. And then from there, you're going to create what's called a retargeting stack, where you're not going to um, mind like before you were testing cold traffic, you warmed that cold traffic into warm traffic, you warmed them up, and so now you want to retarget those people who maybe visited your website or didn't make a purchase, or visited your landing page something but didn't take an action, but they visited, their imprint is there. So you can create what's called a retargeting stack, where you retarget those same people who may have visited your website but didn't take an action, and you retarget them with another offer that says, hey, or, a message, hey, I noticed you visited my website, blah, 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 whatever. This is really good. And you don't, one of the reasons I say do not retarget with the same creative used in previous cold targeting ads is because if someone is looking at your content again, you don't want to hit them with the same ad creative that you used previously to get them. Maybe that first ad copy that you tested was good enough to get them in the door or get them to look at your website, but now you want to keep getting in front of their face with better content or new content so that they know that you're interacting with them, right? And then finally, your hot audience. Um, these are obviously, again, people who have either visited a sales page or made a purchase. You design a custom audience around that, and you want to target, again, you can use custom audience stacks like we were just talking about. You can retarget by previous purchases, frequent buying and engagement, purchases. You can actually target people based on their purchase behavior, whether they've purchased from you or not. But if people, you can target people based who have made purchases on Facebook within like the past 30 to 90 days or plus. And then once you have a hot audience, use retargeting stacks to convert the same audience with new offers. So, you have those, it's like getting a customer in the door. You don't want them to just buy once, you want them to continue to buy over and over again. So, you know, once you have that data, once you know who your customers are, you want to be able to hit them and retarget them with new offers. So, for that, um, that pretty much kind of wraps up targeting. I just kind of wanted to give you guys a quick little understanding of what targeting is, what kind of audiences you're dealing with on Facebook, so that you can understand there's a logical strategic process by which you create your ads on Facebook.